Okay, so the heater and everything's off. Don't hear no hissing. I'm gonna start it and turn the heater on defrost, and then let it run for a minute, and then shut the truck off. So I replaced the sending unit. I replaced the thermostat. It looks as though it has a brand new water pump. I have water flow. I have heat. So when I shut this truck off, there's a hissing noise back here. Maybe that's normal. I've never heard that before. And the temperature gauge does not work. But when I turn the key, it goes. When the truck off, if I turn the key on, the temperature gauge goes to the left towards cold. It goes past cold. When I start it, or no, it goes up towards the sea when I shut it off. When I start it, it goes backwards. I don't know if the camera will get that what that sounds like. This is where it's coming from, down in here. I don't know if it's the AC compressor. I think that's the AC compressor, I'm not sure. But it's coming from right in here, and this, I believe, sits right behind the heater core, and it doesn't do it for very long. Looks like it's drying out. The camera doesn't show it. There's about 2 inches of wetness there. But it does look like it's drying out. And this is what came out of it. I'm hoping that's just condensation that was built up in the exhaust. Can't really see in there. So now, if we get in the truck, see where see if I can get this around there better. See where it's right on the sea. When I turn the key, it goes down past the sea. Which for the most part is normal, but then it's supposed to come back up. Sometimes it'll come up to the sea. Every now and then it'll come up right up to about here. It'll jump from there to here. But it hasn't done that in a while. I just replaced the sending unit, like I said before. The thermostat looks like it has a brand new water pump. Let me leave that running. We'll go out here and I'll show you that we have good flow. The reservoir, this was full. I don't know if you can see in there. It was full, it's not now. We've got flow. I have bled this system over and over and over. Sat here for 20-30 minutes, dumping water in it, revving the engine, trying to get all the air out. And it stays consistent right here now. It's building pressure. I checked it earlier. This hose is squishy now. It's super hot, so I've got flow. But it was solid earlier, so it's got pressure. I believe it's a 170 degree thermostat in it the other day. You see the new gasket there. There's the water pump. Fan's working. Like I said, I got good heat. I can't seem to understand why that thermostat's not working. And from my research, I read that if your engine hisses after you shut it off, that it's overheating. So when I first started it, I noticed there was that water that you saw before from the exhaust. but you can't really see it, but it's dry. And when I rev it, no more water comes out, so I'm assuming that was just condensation from sitting. You know, the nights are kind of cooler, so they're going to build up condensation. So I don't think it's a head gasket because the radiator is staying full, unless it's right at the beginning of a blown head gasket. I'm pretty sure the water pump's good because, as you saw, we got good flow going. If the water pump wasn't doing its job, that flow wouldn't be as good as it was. So I've checked all the fuses, all the relays, everyth's good. So my last thing that I could think it would be the electrical, which I don't know if you can see it. This right down here, that guy, that's the sending unit. Maybe it's a wiring issue, maybe they're short. Now, the guy I bought this from did say they just put a new ignition in here. This is not I don't believe it's an OEM Ford ignition. I think it's an aftermarket. That doesn't look OEM to me. So, this is the ignition key. You can see it has the Ford oval on it, but it doesn't say Ford on it. That's the ignition key. This is the door lock key, so they probably just made a copy of it. I have another set of keys. They, for the most part, match this and this. But this key, my other one, says Ford on it, but it doesn't work in the ignition. But it does work in the doors. But this key does not work in the doors and works in the ignition. So, if it's not the wiring under the hood, I'm wondering if when they wired this ignition, which they shouldn't, as far as I know, they shouldn't have had to mess with any wiring. Anytime I've done an ignition, it's just plug and play. So if anybody knows what's going on, if you've had this issue, if you're a mechanic and you've dealt with this issue, let me know what's going on, because I'm at a loss here, and I really don't want to have to take this into my mechanic for, you know, maybe a $5, $10, $20 fix or something. I just don't understand why that temp gauge isn't working. That's what's getting me. As long as it's not overheating, I honestly really don't care, but I like things to work right. See, I turn the key off. That's not even starting the truck. I turn the key off, and it comes back up. That's why I'm wondering if they got some wires crossed in the ignition there. But before I tear into the dash and the steering column there, I want to see if somebody knows anything about this first. Maybe it's something more simple. Maybe I've overlooked something or didn't consider something. So, any help would be appreciated. Just comment below. Thank you.